guys, I'm going to show you quickly how to make a Google slide, kind of drag and drop, kind of like a worksheet. Just kids are going to be able to answer it just by taking their mouse or whatever and dragging and dropping their answer into where you want it to go. So how you set that up is you start with a blank Google slide. I'm going to go ahead and change the layout of it. I actually want it blank. I don't want any of this stuff that's already formatted. I just want something that is completely free of any type of formatting. First thing you can do is you want to go ahead and change the background. And so see how it's just white and simple and plain? You're going to go to background and you're going to hit, you can either choose to change the color, you can customize the color even more down here, or you can hit gradient, which is going to be kind of like a 3D effect to the colors. And again, you can customize that too. I'm going to go ahead and choose an image. You can upload something from your computer or your phone or whatever it is you're making this on. You can actually take a selfie if you want by photos, Google Drive, and you can also do a Google image search, which is what I'm going to do. My always fallback on are watercolors, so watercolor backgrounds. I don't know why. I think they look really cool as backgrounds. So I just put in watercolor backgrounds and I'm gonna pick in something that's just kind of simple and easy to the eyes. I'm gonna go ahead and pick that one. I'm gonna hit insert and I'm gonna hit done. So there we go. It completely perfectly puts a background into my worksheet. So from here, I'm actually gonna put a border on it just to kind of jazz it up and make it look pretty. So I'm gonna insert a text box. And I'm going to drag and drop it. I know that sounds funny, like why a text box? But I'm going to drag and drop it to where it's all on the outside. And you're going to see that the text box, you're going to be able, if I really wanted to, I could change that text box color. So I could change it to white, and it's going to change everything that I drag that over to white. I'm actually going to leave that transparent, meaning whatever's behind it's going to show through. But what I am going to do is I'm going to change the border. So I'm going to change my border color. I'm actually going to make it purple, and I'm going to change the thickness of it. So right here is where you're going to see the thickness, and I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. There we go. And that's how you add a border to any type of Google slide. You can also change that border if you really wanted to. Sorry. I'm going to click back on it. You can change the border if you wanted like dots or dashes. I'm going to go ahead and do a straight line. So from here, I'm going to add another text box, and I'm going to add a title. Now, instead of doing a text box, I'm actually going to insert a shape. And the reason why I like shapes is because it gives me rounded edges. So I'm going to insert this one right here. Same thing, I'm just going to drag and drop it over. And I do want to put it to where it is in the middle of my document, and that red line, there's that magical red line. It's going to pop up. So from here, same as before, I can change the color of my text box. I'm actually, again, going to make it transparent. And I'm going to go ahead and bring out my background, my border color. So I'm going to make it purple, just like my border, and I'm going to make it a 4. So actually, let's make it match. I'm going to make it an 8. Actually, I'm going to change the color. I'm going to make it a blue. I made my big one a blue, and I'm going to make my little one purple. There we go. Okay, so from here, I am going to double click, and you're going to see a cursor pop up, and I am going to change my font. They have so many fonts. My favorite's Indie Flower. I just don't like the way it looks, but you're going to change your font. I'm going to change my size. You can either click these arrows, or you can click on it and more pop up, or you can type in what you want. That'll be way too big, so I'm going to do 20. I'm going to bold it, and I do want to do the matching purple. That's not it. The matching purple for my words. So, or nope, I'm actually going to do a one-step equation. And I want my text to be in the middle. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to put that it starts in the middle. So that's actually kind of small. So I'm going to make it a little, I'm going to double click on it, highlight it, and I'm going to make it bigger. Click down one so it fits. Okay, so there's my title. So from here, and you can put directions here if you want. We can go, I'll go ahead and do that. text box. Again, maybe we don't want a border for this. Say, hey, I just want to put in directions like words, so I want to get rid of the border. So I'm actually going to make my border transparent, and so it gets rid of the border. I'm going to go in and I'm going to write, I want to start in the middle. I'm going to write directions. Please drag the, spell right, please drag the correct answer to its matching equation. And obviously I will get much more detailed in directions for them. I'm just trying to go fast so I don't take up too much time. But basically you can put your directions in if you want. And then you can also put in any type of image. So maybe you want to insert in a Bitmoji that you've made. So I'm going to go to my photo library. There's tons of things you can insert. Let me go back. You can insert an image. You can insert another shape. Maybe you want to put in like math signs. I'm going to go ahead and insert in my Bitmoji. Let's see here. Oops. I do not want this. I'm going to insert in, nope, sorry. I'm going to do this one, this Bitmoji. I'm going to insert it in. Yay, I'm excited. Answer my worksheet. And I'm going to place that over here. And maybe just to make it uniformed, I'm going to put in one more Bitmoji and place that one over here. Okay. And you can make it as pretty as you want. So there is just my standard. Now, you can leave this alone and start building. I don't want any of this stuff to be clickable or editable for my kids. I just want them to be able to click and edit their drag and drops. So I'm just going to actually click off everything, make sure there's no highlights, and I'm going to take a screenshot of this. And you can take a screenshot from your computer, however that works. And I'm going to screenshot this, and I am just going to put it to where I just have the image that I made inside of my screenshot. So there we go. And there we go. I'm going to save it. And you can save it. I'm on an iPad, so it saves it to my photos. You can save it. It's probably going to save it to your computer, your downloads, your desktop, whatever it is. So from here, I'm actually going to insert a new slide. So insert a new slide. I do not want a layout. I'm going to layout and blank. And I'm actually going to insert a brand new background. I'm going to choose an image from my background, and it's actually an upload. It's going to be an upload either from a computer or your phone. And I'm going to upload in that photo I took the screenshot of. And you're going to see why that's important. It's just important for me because I don't want my kids to touch that. Do you see how on the screen when I touch these elements, I can drag and drop them and move them? Well, when you take a screenshot, they're locked into place. So my kids cannot touch those in any way. Those are just part of the document. And so it's just up to you, your choice, whether you want to lock them or if you really don't want to do that extra step. Okay, so from here, I want to insert in, I'm not going to make these the prettiest, I'm just going to make them functional text boxes. I'm going to insert little text boxes. And I want these text boxes to pop. So I'm going to hit the background color. I'm going to go ahead and do that same purple. I am going to change the border to white, and I'm going to make the border thicker so they pop. So there's my text box. And so from this text box, I'm actually going to copy and paste it. So Control C, Control V. I'm going to copy and paste these 6 times. So I have the same formatting and I don't have to reformat 6 different boxes. And then from here, I'm going to line these up, make sure one's in the middle, and then just kind of use those little red lines to guide you. Make sure your boxes stay lined up. There we go. The best you can. Okay, so those are nice and lined up. So from here, inside these little drag and drop boxes, I'm going to format the text the way I want it. I'm going to go up to 20. I'm going to bold it. Again, I like my indie flower. You choose what you want. I'm going to go to white, and I'm going to make sure I start in the middle. And I'm just going to put in x is equal to 4. And that is way too big. That's why it's not formatting in there. So I'm actually going to go down a little bit. Let me go back. actually, just so my kids can see them, I'm actually going to change this to Oswald so they pop. Okay, there we go. Sometimes text looks funny as numbers, so I kind of have to play around to make sure my kids can see it. And from these, I'm actually going to copy and paste just the words into my text boxes so I don't have to reformat everything that I just did. It all looks the same. And then you can go in and edit. So I could say x is equal to 3, x is equal to 5, x is equal to 6, 9, and so on. So you can change all these. Okay, so from here, I want to be able to drag and drop these into answer choices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert in a table. And I'm actually going to do a 3 by 4. And it's going to pop up. I'm going to drag and drop it where I want it, and I'm going to format it. Make sure you use that magical red line that it's in the middle. And I'm going to, where's my red line? There it is. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag it down to open it up. And then I really want my see how it kind of just blends in, it doesn't pop. I really want my table to pop. So I'm going to change the background to white. Oops, make sure it does that. Make sure you're on the whole thing. There we go. I want the whole thing to change to white, not just that one cell. I want the whole thing. I want my border to be, let's do blue to match before, to match my border. And I'm going to do a thick line. Actually, I'm going to go to an 8 just to make it really thick. There we go. Okay, so here's my table. So from here, I'm actually going to type into here. I'm going to go ahead and stay in Oswald. I'm going to switch out of Indie Flower because it's kind of hard to read. I'm going to bold it, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to say place answer here. Sorry, wish I could type. Place answer here. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it in every other cell. So I'm going to place it there and you'll see why. There we go. And I'm going to drag to kind of take this up and make these smaller. And that way my answer pieces are bigger. So I'm going to say place answer here. And then from here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make them in the middle. I'm going to go to Oswald. I'm going to make these a 20. I'm going to bold it. So all I did is just what I've been doing, just changing the font, the size. I bold it and I change the color. I'm going to leave it with black and I'm going to say 2x plus 4. Actually, I said one-step equations. So 2x equals 10. 2x equals 10. So there's my problem. And then I can take that again, if you want, just copy and paste that into every single box so you don't have to go in and individually change the font or the sizing. And you can go in and retype equations. 3x equals 27. So whatever you want to do. So I actually want my kids, they can kind of see where to place things, but I want it to kind of pop. So I'm actually going to highlight this row and I'm going to change the background to like a light gray. And I'm going to do the same for this. So they know exactly where I want them to place their answers. There we go. So now they actually know, and those aren't the same size. So let me bring this down. There we go. That looks more even. So now they know where to place their answers. So now I'm going to show you something now. Watch what happens when you drag and drop. My piece disappears. And that's because the table was the last thing you made. So you actually need to make these pieces format to where they're going to go in front of the table. So I'm going to drag and drop just over top all 4 of my pieces. See how it collects all of them. I'm about to format all of these. I'm going to go to arrange. I'm going to go to order and I'm going to say, hey, I want you to bring those to the front, which means now when I take these and I drag and drop them, they're going to go in front of what's already there. And so that's how they're formatted. And so now the kids will just drag and drop their answers. I know those are not correct answers. I'm just dragging and dropping. They can drag and drop their answers as you go. And you can quickly check those in Canvas and the speed grader or whatever. They're really easy to decipher if they got it right or wrong. So you can use this, I mean, in so many different subjects. You could do history and do like events, maybe picture of events. and like these could be the dates. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do, and that's just kind of a standard drag and drop. So I hope you thought that was helpful. I also made another one that was a properties, and see how the different orientations, I can show you how to make this. This is an 8 by 11. You're just going to go into File. You're going to go to Page Setup. The last one that we were on was a widescreen, 16 by 9, and I made this a custom. I changed the orientation of it, and I made it an 8 by 10. You can also do an 8 by 11. I mean, you can make it whatever you want. And so it changed the orientation of my slide. And this one, you can put the answer pieces out here and not clutter up, you know, like the worksheet in here. Because your kids are going to see this when they open it. And so this one is just where they go and they drag and drop the correct property into the worksheet. And these aren't right as well, so don't judge me, but you just drag and drop. And so the pieces are on the outside. So that's also an option as well. So I hope you guys found this helpful.